Good morning, team. It is Tuesday, January 26th, and it is a snowy one out there. But I'm glad to say I made it safely down to Goose Island, and I'm here live with Kevin Van Eck. So thank you for joining us. Grab your coffee or your tea, and let's get ready to kick off another great episode of Coffee with Amy and Kevin.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, everyone. Yes, like Amy said, make sure to grab your coffee. You're going to need it today. So today we're talking about inventory. This is something huge because we know, and we actually predicted last year that inventory was going to be an issue this year, and we're experiencing it. So we've got some great things to share, really three tips for you to really listen to today. And I encourage you, whether you have listings now or not, you will. So make sure that you pay attention because this is going to be really important for creating success for your seller in this market.
That's right, Kevin. So we've heard a lot about it, lack of inventory. I've heard it from multiple brokers, and we hear you. And I know there's a lot of confusion also about how to stay in front of the market to make sure that you're giving your buyers that competitive edge right now. And we also want to make sure many of you are reaching out or trying to put posts out on social media, and that's great. You're being creative and trying to figure out how to find things for your buyers and connect buyers to your listings. But we want to make sure you're also handling that the right way. So we've got some amazing tools that we want to talk about today to make sure that you feel supported as we head into this already very busy market.
That's right. So let's start with the first one. And this is the easiest one because it is part of platform. And it's the DMS and agent app connection. And what's great about it is you really don't have to do anything necessarily. Basically, what happens is in your DMS property folder, when you have a new listing, we know the first step is to upload your listing agreement. But right across from there is the ability to market a pocket listing. And what we notice is a lot of us are not taking advantage of this. In fact, when you do complete the market as a pocket listing menu, it will automatically post your listing into the agent app. Now, here's what's great. Over the weekend, I talked with several different agents who found the property for their buyers in the agent app. But the challenge is we know that not all of our listings are going in there as soon as we have a listing agreement signed. And this is something great that we can provide of value to our sellers in creating exposure up front and also collaborating with our @properties colleagues. So in the DMS, in your property folder, there's a button where you can mark it as a pocket listing. And as you can see here, all you need to do is fill out the most basic information and it will automatically create a post in the pocket listing section of the agent app.
So let's talk a little bit about the PLN. This has been a great tool that came to us quite a few years ago, and now most brokers are using it. It's a powerful way to create exposure on the MLS sort of pre-market. And it's been a great way for us as brokers to connect with one another to help get our buyers connected with upcoming listings. Now, here's the thing that we need to remember. If you've got a listing that's up and coming, if you want to promote it anywhere outside of @properties, you need to make sure that you've got it in the PLN. You need to make sure that if you want to make any sort of advertisement about a coming soon or is about to be listed, it's got to be in the PLN. If you want to make sure that there's signage, if you want to do any sort of print advertising, if you want to push it out on social platforms, you can do that, but it's got to be in the PLN. And the other thing that's really important is I know some of us are on these closed groups with other brokers outside of @properties. They may be Facebook groups. We've also got TAN, which we know many of you are actively involved in. And that's great and okay, but what you want to make sure of is that if you are promoting your listings on any of these outside platforms, you do have it listed as a listing in the PLN. It is a violation if you don't. And so keep that in mind when you're getting ready to create exposure for a property. The other nice thing is that you might as well put it in the PLN because you can create a listing or a draft in the PLN and it can get converted to the active MLS listing. So we've heard in the past where people say it's sort of cumbersome. I don't want to have to put in 2 different listings. You don't need to do that anymore. You can create a draft in the PLN and then you can easily convert it into the MLS listing when you're ready to make it live. Now, here's one downside or thing about the PLN to keep in mind. You know, the PLN cannot be actively searched on by by buyers directly through the MLS. So you're going to have to print it out or, send it to them on your own because right now there is no way directly through the MLS where buyers have access straight to the PLN. But Kevin's going to tell you a great workaround that we have available for you on that.
That's right. And it's ZenList. And if this is the first time you're hearing about it, pay attention, please. ZenList, we now have an enterprise agreement at App Properties. So every broker at App Properties has access to ZenList. And this fills the gap that Amy was just talking about. Think about it. In the PLN right now, you have to screenshot, download a PDF and send it. I've seen agents taking a photo with their camera of their computer screen so they could send it to their client. And that's crazy town. So what can we do? We can use ZenList. ZenList is the most complete list of PLN listings and all MLS listings. And so it's easy when you invite a client to search or you set up a search for them to see everything that's in the MLS and the majority of listings in the PLN. Now, the PLN is all about collaboration. It's all about creating exposure for listings and giving opportunities to our buyers. There is a brokerage out there who has not yet agreed to share their PLN listings with ZenList. But we've got the pressure on, and the pressure is on industry-wide to be collaborative instead of holding back. And so you may not see all PLN listings in ZenList. I want to be clear about that. But the advantage is that your buyers do have the ability to search within the PLN and the MLS. And this is why it's so important, to Amy's point, that we have our listings in the PLN as well, so that they do propagate to ZenList where it can be searched. And let's talk about TAN really quickly one more time. Amy brought it up. TAN now has put out an announcement that they are going to allow buyers to search. But here's the difference, is that not all of the PLN listings are going to be in TAN. The only listings that will be in TAN are the ones that are shared by agents. And the issue is to get a listing into TAN legally without violating any of the MRED or NAR, Clear Cooperation Policy rules, is to have it in the PLN. So TAN is becoming less and less effective, and I've spoken with many brokers who have stopped using it over the last 6 months as ZenList has become more effective and as the Clear Cooperation Policy from NAR has really eliminated the value in TAN as the listing has to be in the PLN anyway.
So let's talk about this. Let's talk about social media. I think this is really important because it's a great avenue for us right now to get out there and try and see if we can connect buyers and listings. Here's what we want to remember. Whenever we are posting anything as it relates to our business in real estate, we always need to make sure that those postings, those ads, any communication we are putting out includes our name as a real estate broker and our sponsoring broker's name. So it needs to say Amy Corr, real estate agent or real estate broker, and then at Properties. You need to make sure that that is somewhere on your advertisement that is very clear. We want to make sure that the consumer always knows that we are out there and how we are operating as a real estate broker and affiliated with at Properties. Okay, that's super important. The other thing is we want to always make sure that whatever we're communicating is clear to the consumer. We have seen a lot of posts, which are okay. We know that you're out there and you've got buyers that you're working with and you're trying to secure properties. And so you're reaching out and articulating it out to the consumer. We want to be careful though. We don't want to appear to be a broker that is simply fishing for business or potential listings. If you do have buyers, put it out there and let people know, but also articulate to have the seller or the seller's broker, if they've got a relationship, to reach out to you, because this isn't necessarily about trying to get listings. If that ends up being a bonus in the relationship as you develop it, great. But the intention should really be that you are trying to truly find inventory for your buyers. So you want to make it a very comfortable collaboration, and you don't want other brokers to feel as if you're trying to fish in this environment right now where it is pretty competitive and inventory is tight. So make sure you're using the right language, come from the right spot, because the other thing is we don't want to undervalue ourselves as brokers. If we appear to be people that are, or agents that are going direct to sellers and trying to solicit business, we're looking as if we're almost trying to cut out the other broker. So we need to be mindful of that. We want to be respectful of the relationships we all have right now. We might have sellers, and we have sellers that are on social media. And if they suddenly see these posts about people or agents having buyers, we want to make sure that we are being respectful of one another. And at the end of the day, what we're really trying to do is match, because right now inventory is tight and the market is moving quickly. So just keep that in mind. Let's all participate and do our best to move things forward and work together as a real estate community.
This has been such a great episode, at least in our opinion, because we are biased and we created it. But this is so important, really, because we all have listings and we all have buyers, and we need to know how to operate in the best interest of the consumer and collaborating with each other. And the tips that we just gave you, sharing it in the DMS where it automatically posts to the agent app, putting your listing into the PLN, making sure to use Zenlist, and that knowing that when you put your listing into the PLN, that it is populating to Zenlist so that buyers can see your seller's property, and also doing things correctly on social media without being misleading are really, really important tips. So thank you for watching today. Please watch this again if you need any help, and reach out to your managing broker if you need clarification on any of the rules. That's really important. There's a lot of confusion out there, and we do see listings on TAN that aren't in the PLN. We see listings being advertised that aren't in the PLN. And we can share from experience. We know that there are people out there looking for these instances, looking to send in violations, and we don't want anyone to be fined. So thank you for watching. Make it a great Tuesday, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, team. Make it a great day.